married this weekend, as far as we know, in the whole world, or you would have been there. So you were here with us. Uh, and hold on, I got no lights. I got no lights. Alexa, turn on the lights in the office. Oh, now I have blue. See, it's so much better. So much better. All right. You did a great job. So let's talk about Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Full disclosure. Full disclosure. I was able to get an early access ticket, and I saw this over a week ago. And I intended to see it again tonight, so it would be fresh in my heart and my mind. But there's a lot of other movies I want to see during my staycation, like John Wick and Mario Brothers. And going to a lot of movies gets a little pricey, so I'm gonna have to go off of my heart and mind from a week ago, which is I'm still pretty elated because it was a great movie. But you just saw it, right? It's fresh in your
Yep.
heart and mind. Okay, sweet, sweet, sweet.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, let's get it right out there in the open. What did you think?
It was a very fun movie.
It was a very fun movie. Absolutely. It's a very fun movie. I have heard it.
Like like if I was just thinking about like movies in general,
Yeah.
it's okay. But fun factor, it was very fun. I enjoyed it every single minute while I was there watching it, and it straight up was like if somebody had a campaign and it finished, and then they were telling you about it. This is what I see. This is this movie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Stone? Stone also saw the movie with me early. Stone is actually the one that got us the early access tickets to see it.
Oh dang.
Yeah. So I agree. I think it was a fantastic movie. I think it deserves all the good reviews, the hype, the buzz, the accolades. I'm gonna tell you right now, this this is not a great movie, right? This is a good, fun movie. The best
Mhm.
comparison that I've seen people bringing up is the first Mummy movie. The first
Yeah.
Mummy movie with Brendan Fraser, and you're like, this is so dumb. I love it. I'm gonna watch it.
Yes,
I'm gonna
exactly.
watch it. I'm gonna watch it 10 more times because every time I watch it, it's like fun, and I'm like, oh no, Benny, uh-oh, right? And then like every part of it, every moment, every scene, it's fun. There's like, yeah, and like this was a fun movie. This was a movie that even if people have no idea what the hell Dungeons and Dragons is, they're gonna go and they're gonna watch it and they're gonna have fun and they're gonna be like, that was fun. That was a fun movie.
Mhm.
What I liked about it, and I lived through, just like I lived through the first Super Mario movie, I lived through the first Dungeons and Dragons movie, and it was a fucking crime. All right, it was an absolute crime. It was a crime. It was a crime.
So,
It-
so what?
Let me
What
break
happened is,
it down for you. It had a Wayans
Go ahead.
brother. It had a Wayans brother in it.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So let me. Yeah. They snuck past beholders. There were multiple beholders being used as sentries, and the low-level rogues, who were the main characters, snuck past. I could go on for 4 hours about how bad the first Dungeons and Dragons movie was. Okay. This was not that. This was a good, fun movie. And I recommend anybody who has time to go see it and money to go see it. I think whoever you take with you, I think you guys are gonna have a good time. I think it's a good time. I think Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez pretty much carried the whole fucking crew through this movie. They were definitely they were the talent in this movie for sure. Hugh Grant was just Hugh Grant. And everybody else was just trying their best, I guess. But it was good. It was really good.
Smith was just Justice Smith.
Yeah, Justice Smith was there so that Caden X could be happy, essentially. So I asked the director, I was like, why is Justice Smith in there? And it's like, for Caden X. And I was like, oh, okay. I know that a lot of things in the world operate just to make him happy, so that makes sense that he would be in the movie. So fun movie, definitely recommend it. So much better than the first Dungeons and Dragons movie by a mile. Just better than most movies that you see nowadays. It had a lot of heart. There was a couple of parts that were just really stupid and didn't make any sense, like most Hollywood adventure movies, right?
Or some D&D campaigns.
Or some D&D campaigns. Now, that's what I want to really talk about. I want to break it down. I want to break the whole fucking movie down with a fellow dungeon master, right? I want to go scene by scene. I want to talk about Easter eggs. I want to talk about this is not a movie. This is a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, right? Yeah. So let's talk it out. And as we are, I want this to be an example of how you could make a movie about a property and have it be accessible to everybody and have it be fun for everybody, but also be respectful of the source material, okay? Now, it sounds silly because it was a silly movie, right? But it was a silly movie that was still respectful of the material. Like, even the Marvel movies nowadays, they're always like deprecating humor. They're like, cracking jokes when they don't need to. They're just like, well, that's a dumb name, and like stuff like that. But like, they never did, right? You got Chris Pine saying Eric Cochra over and over again with a straight face. You got people like just throwing out Realms lore and not explaining it, because this is the world they live in, and they wouldn't explain it to each other because they live in the fucking world. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They wouldn't look right at the camera and be like, yes, this is the such and such because of the such and such, the such and such and such and such. They live there. They live in the world, And so I think that it's very respectful, and I want to break it down. I want to break down the movie into the D&D parts. So,
okay.
All right, since you just saw it and I didn't, can you
Can
you walk me through?
Yeah.
So what happened at the very beginning?
So first things first, they're in prison in Revel's End, and when I saw that, I was like, oh snap! I remember just running this a campaign that took place here in Icewind Dale.
Yep.
I was like, oh man,
we've been to that prison. We've been to that prison. Yep.
So I was big smiles as soon as the movie started. Mm-hmm. And then him saying, them trying to figure out like, okay, we're about to have our meeting to get set free in the Absolution Council. I was like, oh man, like I know this. What all smiles thinking about this. Mm-hmm. And then they did, they had their thing, and he explained his backstory.
The backstory was amazing. They're like, all right, it's the first session. I want to hear everybody's backstories. And like, what a cool way to do the session 0, right? For these two characters is that they break out of jail, and I love that they actually convinced them, but they weren't confident. DM was using blind rolls. Blind rolls, right? And he's like, ooh, okay, all right, I rolled it. And then he just stares at them over the DM screen, and they're like, fuck, we didn't do it. Oh, fuck, there's no way they believed us. Oh, shit. And they're like, go with the window plan. And the DM is like, you fucking idiots. You passed the check. You got a high enough diplomacy. You didn't need to jump out the fucking window. All right, whatever. Guess you jumped out the fucking window. I was going to pardon you off of that, but okay. Yeah, no, it was classic D&D, like from the very beginning. Like, it was great. It was great.
The random side talking to while he's giving his backstory, asking where this guy is, and
because everyone at the table is asking for clarification about the backstory, and so he's breaking from the backstory to give like table talk, like clarification, and then he's going back to the backstory. It was so good. It was so well done.
It was so, and one of the funny moments too is that when he like did clarification, he went to start talking about it back, and he backed up. Like,
too far. Yeah, they're like, you've already done this part. It was like, oh my god, it's perfect. It's perfect. Mm-hmm. Oh my god.
But yeah, they did that. Did the backstory thing. Mm-hmm. They had the blind rolls, succeeded without realizing it, and then they jumped out the window with the Eric Cochra. And then Eric Cochra, like what the all the non-humanoid race, like the animal or
well,
like non-human races,
it was all practical effects. It was all practical effects.
Good.
I was like,
so good.
I was like, this is some fucking Jim Henson shit right here. Like, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And everybody, it was so 5th edition Forgotten Realms, right? Like, no racism for races, just cultural stuff, right? Like, no one likes the Red Wizards, period, right? And that's pretty understandable. But it was never like, oh, you're a human, you're a halfling, you're a gnome, you're a dragon, you're dragonborn. None of that.
I mean the what's her name?
Well,
the druid.
Yeah, true.
She had a thing against humans.
Yeah, the druid did have a thing against humans in general.
But it's against humans.
Yeah. But that was part of her. That was part of her edgy backstory, though.
Backstory, yep.
Yeah.
As a tiefling.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. So, so they get out, and then they go and they walk. They do the Lord of the Rings walk through all the scenery, and then they steal the horses. Classic. And then, of course, they go to meet up with their crew, who inevitably betrayed them, right? Which is the perfect setup for a campaign like this. Fantastic.
Yeah. Among thieves.
Yeah. And then I thought his backstory did such a good job of, 1, being Dungeons and Dragons, and then 2, skipping a whole lot of bullshit and getting us right into the action. I love good exposition before a one-shot or a mini-series, right? Like, we didn't need to play through all that shit. You know what I'm saying? That was like the combination of the DM giving the exposition and the characters giving their backstory at the same time. It was so good. It was so well done.
Yeah. That's one thing too about this. It's a one shot, so they're not gonna worry about the travel. They just hand wave it.
Classic
5e, classic 5e hand wave the travel. You're just at went from Rebels and Icewind Dale, all the way to Neverwinter, and it's like nothing. You stole some horses, you made it there. Oh, you're just inside Neverwinter in the castle, getting ready to talk to the Lord of Neverwinter. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, sure, yeah, of course. Yeah. It was great. And then they get there and they realize very quick their inevitable betrayal from what was Hugh Grant's character's name?
Oh man, I forgot already.
I'm sure somebody in chat will call it out.
Hold on.
Jonathan? No, his name was...
No. Jonathan was Aarakocra.
Yeah. Jonathan was Aarakocra. It was like a single word. It was like... Yeah. Forge. Thank you, everybody.
He was a rogue, apparently.
Yeah, they were all... I mean, even the bard was a rogue. He didn't have any fucking spells. He was just a mastermind. He was a mastermind thief. Like, he was a mastermind rogue. He was a mastermind rogue. If I see a character sheet that says he's not a mastermind rogue, that character sheet's wrong. Okay? That's all I'm saying. And the best mastermind rogue is not going to tell you he's a rogue. He's going to tell you he's a different class entirely. So, yeah, it was perfect. And then, So Cash mentioning the Harpers...
Yeah.
Mentioning the Emerald Enclave, they don't go into the whole fucking history of the Harpers. They don't go into the whole... They just say Harpers. They did
it with context clues, like, oh, we're Harpers, and then they still show him taking out bad guys, and then, oh, we're Emerald Enclave. We're here next to... We're getting... telling people we don't want them in the forest. I mean, okay, yeah, I understand.
Yeah, they didn't have to shove it down my fucking throat like the lore, So even if I didn't know the lore, I'm like, oh, Emerald Enclave. Emeralds are green. Enclave. Oh, okay. They're eco-terrorists. I get it. Oh, okay. The end. Right? I don't need anything else. Like, move on with it. It's fantastic. It was so good.
The Red Wizards did bad stuff. Okay, I know the Red Wizards are bad.
Yeah. The Lord's Alliance got brought up back in the prison. They did. It was so good for, just casual lore drops. I just loved the casual lore drops. Fantastic. Yeah. So moving on, they get their inevitable betrayal, and then that fight scene of escaping. Oh, it was beautiful. The bard's failing his skill check because he's not really a bard. So the mastermind thief rogue is failing his skill checks over and over. He can't get loose. Yeah. Barbarian obviously has Tavern Brawler, and it's just everything is a weapon, and she's just fucking wrecking shit. And it was so perfect. It was exactly how you would picture it. It was so good. So they get loose, and then they're like, we gotta assemble the squad. obviously they needed more players, so they went and they got the players from the previous campaign, and the DM's like, guys, I'm doing a mini series, maybe 1-shot, 2-shot. We're gonna follow up on that failed adventure from before. Remember when you guys all got caught? And then, like the heist failed or whatever, we're getting the team back together. And they're like, what about Forge's player? He can't make it, but he gave me some notes about his character. Do you know what I'm saying? So you guys still down? And then the one person's like, yeah, I'm down, but there's this girl I like that wants to play. Do you think she could join us? And then they're like, I don't know, Justice. It's kind of weird bringing a girl that you like to D&D. I mean, this isn't really a good place to try to, like, flirt with this girl you like. He's like, please, guys, I'm Justice Smith. I can't pull any game except Cadenex. Please help me. And then they're like, all right, fine. All right, bring her along. And she's like, I'm a tiefling druid, and I turned into an owl bear. And the DM's like, fucking no, not going to happen. And Justice Smith looks at the DM with his puppy dog eyes, and he's like, I need this. And the DM's like, yeah, fine. You could be a tiefling druid that turns into an owlbear. Sure. Why not? Okay. And it was really good. I thought it was really good. Yeah. And so, and then him being a wild sorcerer, a wild magic sorcerer. Such a fun choice. Such a fun choice. Oh my God. I loved it. I loved it. Yeah.
When they first meet him and he's like reverse gravity, getting flown up in the air. All that stuff is great.
And I love that all these spells were so recognizable, but at no point, except for Speak with the Dead, at no point did they like shove it down your throat. At no point were they like, I'm casting this spell. Like there was no forced marketing on the spells. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, if you knew it was going on, you knew it was going on, and you knew that the main bad guy had unlimited 9th level spell slots, and that's her business. And that's her fucking business.
Hey man, NPCs are different.
Sorry, NPCs are different. Her 9th level spell slots are on a 5 to 6 on a D6 recharge, okay? That's what her 9th level spells are on.
Speaking about recharging.
Let's not skip to that. Let's not skip to that yet. But yes. So, alright, so they get the squad together, and they go and they save the Justice Smith's girlfriend's character from execution, but not really, because she was saving everyone else from execution because she's an independent woman that don't need no help. So then they have this incredible wild shape heist scene, which was fucking cool as hell, and then she used way too many wild shapes. And again, the DM's like, are you fucking no? And then Justice Smith, he looks at the DM with his big puppy dog eyes. He's like, please, I need this. And the DM's like, fine, sure, yeah, you turn into this, and you turn into that, and you turn into this, and then sure, you turn to the fucking deer so that Michelle Rodriguez could get a laugh out of it. Sure. Fine. Yeah. I was like, fantastic. That was fantastic. But it was also bullshit call on the DM's part, because I don't think that this person would have immediately known that that fly was a fucking wild shape. Do you know what I'm saying?
Unless she has true sight or something, I don't know.
But if she had true sight, then the invisible daughter wouldn't have been able to sneak up on her at the end of the movie. I had this exact conversation with
that's true.
Yeah, I had this exact conversation with my kid right after the movie. So what I'm thinking is...
Well, actually, you know what it might be? She had detect magic.
She had detect magic on.
Wild shape is magical.
Wild shape gets shut down by anti-magic. So she saw it was magic, and it was either a druid or a familiar, and then, listen up all you fuckers out there, she did a recall knowledge check, and she's a fucking red wizard, so she rolled real high, and she realized that it wasn't a familiar, that it was a wild shape, and that's why she declared very loudly for everyone to hear that she had found a wild shape here. There's a wild shape here. So anybody that thought that scene was dumb, you're dumb. So just throwing that out there. But yeah, it was really good. It was really good. So that was a cool scene. That was very cool. Yeah. I was not overly surprised that Creepy Woman was a red wizard. But that was cool. That was nice that she was a red wizard. And then I thought it was a little weird that Forge kept the resurrection tablet and never used it. But my kid told me that Forge seems like the kind of guy that would have kept it as like collateral. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like if it got to the point where he was gonna be like, okay, I'm done. This is the only thing I got left. Here, take this. Help me.
Yeah, I feel like he kept it. Yeah, so that was good. That was a good
Yeah.
point. So then, girlfriend is like, or Justice Smith's girlfriend, the druid, right? She's like, yeah, I know a guy, right? And then someone else is like, well, I know this guy too. And then the DM has everyone roll a knowledge check, but he just lies about their results. And he's like, yeah, everybody except Chris knows who this guy is. And he's awesome. And the DM pulls out his own character sheet.
Dr. Forney in chat was like, the paladin seemed like a DM NPC.
These dudes are all level. These guys are all level 7 tops, right? They're all level 7, right? He busts out this level 15 paladin, and he's just like, so yeah, here's this paladin. And he's a former Red Wizard of Thay who was so good that he outgooded the badness of Thay in his own bloodline. He also lived a really long time because he's like magical, and he's just perfect at every. Anyways, you have to meet him to know for sure. And it was 100% DM NPC. It was the most DM NPC bullshit I'd ever seen. I was losing it in the theater. I was like, they did it. They really did it. They really put a fucking DM NPC in this campaign. And you'll notice that everybody else in the campaign is like, yeah, dude, yeah, dog. Like, they're just using, like, real-life colloquialisms. They're not staying in character, right? But the DM NPC, oh, my God. He's calling the fucking intellect devourers by their illithid name. He's using the illithid language from Dungeons & Dragons. Everything, yeah.
When the Internet Devourers were moving past them, and it was like, every two of them dumped intelligence.
Yeah, 5th edition characters, absolutely. They all dumped intelligence. Even the Mastermind Rogue, they all dumped intelligence. It was incredible.
Oh, man.
But, like, this dude, he knew everything about everything, and he was lore dropping like crazy, and it was just so good. It was so good. But before they found the DM NPC, there was the absolutely perfect sequence where, one, you find out about Rodriguez's backstory, where she left the Uthgard to be with a halfling, and I mean Bradley Cooper the halfling. I mean,
so okay, was that a halfling or a gnome?
I think it was a halfling, because didn't he have like little hairy feet? I thought he had little hairy feet.
It was just a human that was small.
I got the vibe that it was a halfling. That was. The
I mean, they're like house, hanging out doing their thing. So kind of halfling, but like size difference, maybe like shape difference. Maybe I didn't see like hobbit there. I saw gnome.
Okay, I mean they're all smalls to me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But so then his new girlfriend comes in, and she's even bigger than Michelle Rodriguez. I was like, that's so good. It's so good. And then later on in the movie, of course, at the end of the movie, she sees another gnome who's giving out, the medals or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, oh my goodness. So then we had the Speak with Dead scene, which I had seen that, and that was what cemented for me that I wanted to see the movie. I had no idea that scene went on for like 15 minutes. That they just kept the gag going like over and over and over again, because like I guess this token just lets him speak with dead at will, which is fucking crazy. And so
there's a token like that in Baldur's Gate.
Ah, okay. And so he like I just thought it was hilarious because it tackled like every aspect of that spell. Like every aspect of the spell. Like having to ask all 5 questions, not leaving them hanging, being careful about the questions that you ask. Super chatty undead, reticent undead, like just the whole thing. It was so good. It was so good because what a universal Dungeons and Dragons experience, right? Is dealing with that with the bullshit and the comedy and the awkwardness of that spell. So I thought that was really, really good.
It's funny too because you saw it when they first got there, and they dig it up and they ask the first question, and by the end they're like all covered in grime and dirt after digging up all the things, talking to every single one, having to go down the line to get the information they're looking for.
Yeah, it was so good. So good. So then they get the DM NPC. And of course, they got to go to the Underdark. You got to go to the Underdark because what if we get a Dritz Duerden movie? So we gotta go to the Underdark in case we get a Drizzt Do'Urden movie. So so of course we gotta show fucking Menzo Branson or whatever Drowsity's in the background. And like all that was eye candy. I thought the Underdark was really cool looking. I love that the DM NPC just like free falls into the fucking Underdark, like it's no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everyone
else uses a rope, but the DM NPC just like fucking free falls in there.
Yeah.
The Intellect Devourers that you mentioned was a perfect. And then
the puzzle.
The puzzle. Where the DM is explaining the puzzle. He's explaining the puzzle, and they immediately fail. They immediately fail. So then the DM is like, oh shit. The adventure's over if I can't get them across. And then he's like, Justice, your character notices that the walking stick is actually a portal gun. I mean, a way staff, a far stepper, a steppy staff.
It's a magical staff.
Yes.
Called the hither and thither.
Yes, yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's the hither and thither staff. That's right. So you could still get across if you needed to. And I was like, immediately in the theater, I was like, why haven't I put a portal gun in Dungeons & Dragons? Like, we have the technology, Dom. We have the fucking technology in the VTT. Like, there's no excuse why we didn't do this.
I gave you guys one at the end of Rhyme. It was the two crystals. Whereas as long as the two crystals were there, you can always teleport to the other crystal.
Oh, and we just never used it?
No, you never used it.
I feel
you only had 2 charges though per day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this portal gun just seemed like it was just like
just endless.
Yeah,
and it lasts forever.
Well, because nobody keeps track of charges. That was another realistic 5th edition D&D thing. Was nobody keeps track of charges or anything.
Yep.
So they immediately start using it for cool shit, which I thought was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Then these dudes show up, the red wizard, the Thay assassins or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? And then for whatever reason, the GM just jerks himself off by having his DM NPC kill all of the assassins. Then he realizes what a terrible mistake he's made because his players have no agency, and he's just like he's kind of embarrassing himself now by having this DM NPC kill everybody. So then it's like the players, you could tell they were kind of upset. They're like, what are we even here for if your guy's going to do everything? And then that's when the paladin's like, oh, well, it ain't over yet because it's hard to kill what is already dead. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're all revenants. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it was like so like they were dead. You killed them, and then you realized that was a shitty thing to do, so you brought them back so that your players could actually play D&D and not watch you play D&D by yourself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then like
I was waiting. During that fight, I was waiting for Critical Smite.
Oh, absolutely! Just make someone blow up. That would have been incredible. Yeah. So then Fat Dragon shows up.
Yeah.
Well, quite possibly one of the greatest moments in all of cinema is when Fat Dragon shows up, and immediately he does the belly slide. He does the great Jagras belly slide, down the hill, and I was like, oh, the rolling came later. Initially, he did the penguin slide, and then they tripped him, and they were like, yeah, and then the DM's like, yeah. He starts rolling, and then like starts rolling, and it's like, you better get going. But that is where the 1d6, the roll of d6 5 or 6 recharge comes in. That poor fucking dragon could not get a second breath weapon off to save his life, and they kept doing like the lighter can't light, and it was like. You wanted to explain to somebody who doesn't play Dungeons & Dragons what's happening, because they're probably like, why can't he get his breath weapon to go? What's wrong with his breath weapon? And everybody who plays 5th edition D&D is like, Poor dog. I've been there. You want that breath weapon back so bad, you just can't get it back. But oh man, and then the dumb shit. You could tell that this group does all their combat theater of the mind, because
Mhm.
that they were like, yeah, so you're running across a bridge, but then the bridge starts to collapse, but then it gets stuck on a chain, and then it turns into a seesaw, and then you're running, the seesaw's going one way, and then it's going another way, and then the dragon's coming for you, and the party's like, this is too much, and he's like, don't worry, the paladin, he jumps through the air, and he stabs the dragon right in the head, and he kills it, and the party's like, what?
But it's not dead. He stabs it in the head.
Yeah.
Sword goes through the head.
Yeah.
And it goes back up. That's D&D.
Yeah. He's like, yeah. And then the dragon, and he looks at his players. He's like, shit, I did it again. He's like, isn't dead. And then the dragon gets back up. And it's like, oh my god, dude, you've got to get rid of this DM NPC. You're ruining the game. You've stolen the whole story from your players. Like, this is the perfect example of why you don't use a DM NPC, or why people hate DM NPCs. It's like, what are you doing, man? And so then the dragon has them cornered, and this is one of the dumbest things in the movie, in my opinion, right? They're in the tunnels, there's no way out, and then the dragon is round after round, can't get its breath weapon to go off and finish off the party. Maybe the DM's rolling behind the screen and lying about it. I don't know. So then they're like, wait, the water the water's dripping from above. It must be the bottom of the fucking ocean.
Oh, he said it's salty.
That's the dumbest shit. It's like, it must be the bottom of the ocean. Listen, man, I played Minecraft, all right? You don't poke a hole in the ocean floor when you're in the Underdark. That's not a good idea. I mean, it works, but I don't think it's a good idea. And then he's like, I know what to do. This ancient red dragon can't get its breath weapon to work. Let's wait until the breath weapon's about to go off. You'll hold your finger out of the water with like a produce flame or a prestidigitation or whatever, and that will somehow ignite the dragon's faulty breath weapon, blow a hole in the ceiling of the Underdark, and then we'll end up in the ocean, and the dragon won't, and everyone will be okay. And it was such a Dungeons and Dragons bullshit situation where the DM has painted himself into a corner, and he's going to TPK the party, and he's desperate for any solution. He's desperate for any way out. Like, and then the player's like, what if we try this? And the DM's like, maybe it'll work. And he's actually already decided, it's going to work, because I don't want to TPK these people, because I have a story I'm trying to tell here. And I was just like, I hated it so much. I've been there many times.
This was, let's try and be science in D&D.
Yeah, and they're like, fire can't hurt us when we're underwater, right?
Water?
Yeah, and it's like, well, according to the rules, you would still take half damage from an ancient red dragon's breath weapon. But, it is what it is. So, so then they wash up on the shores, and then there was the whole, like, attunement is a skill challenge thing. What did you think of that?
For a while, I mean, I thought it was actually a pretty cool idea for like something that maybe like
it's an artifact, obviously.
Because it's an artifact. It's an artifact item, so I can understand like it makes sense for it to be like an attunement thing. You have to do a charisma save to attune to it, and he was just failing his charisma save because he doesn't have the confidence. The confidence.
Yeah. So I thought that was actually a really cool way to show mastering a artifact in 5th edition D&D. I thought it was a really, like, how else are you gonna explain that shit?
Honestly, I thought they were gonna do something stupid like he's already attuned to 3 things he didn't realize, or something like that.
Right, like, so. But I thought that was really good. And then the parting of the DM, and then the scene where they're like, he just walks in a straight line, just so straight and narrow. And then it's like, a rock's coming. Is he gonna go left? Is he gonna go right? No. He went right over. He went right over it. I was like, oh my god. And it was like, he was there just long enough to be like a cool character and give you the good lulls from like the DM NPC. But then I was so glad they got rid of him. Like, and it's just like a DM. Yeah, it was just like a DM NPC. Like, it was cool to have him for that one arc. But then he got to go. Then he's got to go.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was really good. So then we move on to the heist, the actual heist, like the real heist, and the absolutely inspired idea of using the portal gun on a fake painting. That's some big. That's the big brain out of the box Dungeons and Dragons. This ain't a fucking video game thinking. That I was so happy to see that. I was so happy to see that. I was like, wow, that's really cool. Like everything about the portal gun to get the painting into the carriage, like to get it into the vault was just so inspired. It was so well done. Yeah, I really liked that. I couldn't have asked for a more Dungeons and Dragons style plot and scene than that carriage scene where they're using powerful magic to do dumb shit. To do like a really outside the box like plan. I thought that was really, really good.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
And like like some of the cool like skill is, and I could see the DM was probably making it be a skill challenge, and like they had a couple failures in the middle of it, like when the thing started to fall off. Like she did a nature check to find the right glue, right?
Yeah.
And then the glue, wasn't that high. It was a failure, but they said, okay, it's working for now. And then as she's in the thing, it falls down. He's inside of it trying to fix it. The thing is flying away. They're holding it on. It was really good.
Yeah, it was super good. I also liked that the painting was of Volo. I thought that was pretty nice. Yeah.
Yes.
so many Easter eggs. So many Easter eggs in the movie. So then they get to the the revelry or whatever, the big celebration and all that. I thought that was a really cool plot line of you heard from the DM NPC's backstory about the super necromancy ritual. And then now as the audience, like what's going on, right? They're obviously going to do that again. And then you realize, oh, dear, that's why they're doing these Coliseum games or whatever, is to get everybody in one place. So they could kill everybody. Super smart. And then, of course, Forge is like stealing everybody's money because they're all going to die anyways. All that was like really, really cool. Really, really fun. I was very happy with that. I thought that was really well done. So then the whole like everything's going well, and the DM's like, can't have that, can't have that. They can't have that going well. And so everything kind of starts falling apart. I also liked the illusion spell. Like as it started to malfunction, the illusion spell malfunctioning was fantastic. That was fantastic.
He gets his foot caught, so he can't concentrate. Speaking about concentration.
Yeah.
Wait till we get to the end. I'll talk about that.
Oh, fair enough. So then he goes to get his daughter. His daughter, she's using, I guess, alter self, disguise self, whatever.
I think it was like a invisibility trinket or something like. Oh no, the lady.
When Safina or whatever when she was the red witch. The red wizard was like was dressed up like his daughter or disguised as his daughter. Yeah, and then that was the most emotion she showed like the whole movie was when she was mocking him,
laughing.
It was a little out of character, I thought, but maybe it's just showing that she's like super cruel above everything else. I don't know.
Yeah.
So then Ivard's black tentacles show up, right? And he's captured by that. And then she decides to honor his thing.
DM, making sure he doesn't get a TPK.
Right? Yeah, so the DM overplays his hand again and captures everybody. And then he's like, shit, how do I get out of this one? And then the player, once again, the player's like, well, what if you had us fight in the games? And the DM's like, well, shit, bitch, I wanted you to fight in the games the whole time. I already had a plan. So the DM's like, so the other bad guy's like, that's dumb. Just kill them. And then she's like, no, we should definitely put them in the gladiatorial games. That's a good idea.
They beat your men and my men, so we're gonna put them in the game. What?
Yeah. I'm an 18th level wizard with a 20 intelligence. I'm 500 years old. I know what I'm doing. Put those fuckers in the arena right now. It's like, okay.
I guess if you think about it, she's thinking that everybody's gonna die, turn to undead, and be controlled by wizards. And these people,
once again,
took out her
overconfidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then we did get to have the classic trope of arena games, right? Arena, you gotta love arena games. And then I love the 1980s Dungeons and Dragons party cameo. Did you see the 1980s? Did you see them?
I did see them. Yes.
You saw Strongheart and all them. You saw them in there. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I appreciated that they didn't make fun of them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I feel like a Marvel movie would have probably like made fun of them or like beat them up or something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
one of them
got killed.
He got taken out by that. That was the coolest. Like
Displacer Beast.
The Displacer Beast. Yeah, like him using his little tentacles to make the display in a different direction. Like that. Okay, that like. I never really thought about how they did it. I thought it was just magic, but like seeing the tentacles do it, it was really good. Really cool.
Dungeons & Dragons arcade game had a Displacer Beast boss, and how they did that one was it basically cloned itself, and you didn't know which was which until you dealt a certain amount of damage to the clone, and the clone would disappear. Yeah. Or no. You would attack the clone, but you would see that the hit bar wasn't going down. The hit point bar wasn't going down. But you would have these two, and you wouldn't know which was which. And I thought that was a pretty good way to do it. But I thought the movie did an even better job in a 3D space of kind of explaining how the Displacer Beast uses its abilities to hunt and trick people and stuff like that. So I thought that was great. I wasn't too happy about the laziest gelatinous cube on Earth. Yeah. After Paradise Vale, gelatinous cubes, I just have higher standards, I guess. I don't know. Like this, maybe he's just incredibly well fed. I don't know. Like,
he probably doesn't have to do anything.
He's so used to people just running into him. I imagine when he's not in the arena, they use him as like a trash compactor, essentially. So yeah, he's incredibly well fed. I felt like that was they had some good picks for it. They got the Mimic in there, which was fun. Yeah. You got to see the Displacer Beast, which is one of their iconic licensed monsters. So of course they got to put the Displacer Beast in there. And then
gelatinous cube. You gotta put a gelatinous cube.
Gotta have the gelatinous cube.
D&D.
This was another like Sealing of the Underdark. They suddenly magically ended up on a beach. I didn't understand like why they jumped into the cube and how that somehow got them out of the maze.
So so the thing is that the way the maze worked up is just a bunch of things coming up from the ground, and the gelatinous cube was inside one of the pillars coming up and down. And so what they did was they jumped inside the gelatinous cube, and when the pillars went down back to the basement, then they got out of them.
Oh, they used them like an elevator.
The elevator, yeah. Okay. Because he was already going. He was moving up and down with the pillars. The weird thing was that they jumped inside the gelatinous cube, and you saw the guy, get turned into acid.
Oh yeah, like instantly, yeah.
But they jump inside, and then because of the gelatinous cube, reshapes slowly, the druid jumps inside there. While they're inside, they wild shape into a snake, and while the body is still shaped, they go and get out.
Yeah.
So, like, Oh, just helping that puppy dog likes to the GM.
Durgan puts out in chat, if they make a second movie, they will 100% have a beholder. I want to go one step further. I think if they have another movie with the same cast, they're gonna have fucking Xanathar. I think they're gonna go. I think they're gonna go big. Yeah, they'd go big. They wouldn't just have any beholder. They'd absolutely have Xanathar in there. I feel like they would. They've already been all over Waterdeep and never. They didn't go to Waterdeep. They did Neverwinter, right?
Neverwinter. Yeah.
So Waterdeep with Xanathar and Skullport underneath. Oh man, I could see that. Yeah, I could see it going in that direction big time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, so then they escape from the gladiatorial thing. They find the boat full of money, and that's pretty cool, right? And so they're riding out in the boat, and everybody's happy, and the kid forgives her father because she knows the truth now because Hugh Grant revealed what a shithead he was, the whole deal.
It's another good part because they establish that Michelle Rodriguez's character loves potatoes.
Yes.
They've been forced, like, that's one of those things where, like, a character gives themselves, like, a simple quirk.
Yeah.
And they just use it. They always bring it up, every once in a while during the entire campaign. And then at the end, there's like, oh man, what are we going to do? She has a daughter. There's a potato right there. Okay. I mean, you just make it work. As a DM, you just say it succeeds. Well, let them roll.
She for sure has Tavern Brawler. Tavern Brawler. Yep. Everything is a weapon for her. I thought it was so good, so good. So then they're sailing away, and then they have the moral quandary, right? Do we keep all the loot and just do what we were doing before, or are we better than we were last time, kind of thing? And then he remembers the
promise he made to the NPCs.
Yeah, so then he decides to kill a bunch of peasants by dropping gold on their heads. And I thought that the portal gun with the balloon was absolutely inspired. Another brilliant idea. Another one of those moments as a DM where you just stop and you just look at your players and you're like, you want to drop a whale on the house. You're gonna have someone 500 feet in the air. You're gonna polymorph them into a whale, and they're gonna fall in the house. And they're like, yes, that's our plan. And you just need to stop for a second. I feel like that was one of those moments where they're like, yeah, so we put the portal at the bottom of the boat, but not enough that the water comes in. And then we're going to make all the money fall in. And then it's going to come out of the balloon as it sails around the city. And it'll draw everybody out of the arena. And the DM was like, yeah.
Okay,
yeah. All right.
Okay.
And I just thought it was great to have those kind of moments, like the portal gun with the money and the balloon, the portal gun with the reverse heist of getting the painting into the vault, because it showed the two sides of Dungeons and Dragons, right? The DM is telling a story, and the players are surprising the DM. And I thought that for a movie, right? I thought that was really great to like see that in there, and as a person doing tabletop for like 29 years now, to feel that, right? To feel that as both a player and as a DM, to appreciate those moments and to feel like the hobby and the game and the genre were respected. You know what I mean? Like, as goofy and silly as the movie was, it was still really, really respectful of the material, and I just thought that was so cool. So then they go and they have a battle, and we're assuming by now they're level 9. I'm assuming level 9 by the end of the campaign. Does that sound fair? Maybe. I kind of figured they started at 5. I feel like they started at 5, and they either finish at like 7, 8, or 9. I feel like they go like maybe 5 to 8 tops. I don't know. They definitely didn't go all the way. So the fight against Safina or whatever, the Red Wizard, that's like the realest fight they've had, because like the DM NPC was there for the Thay Assassins, the DM NPC was there for the Ancient Red Dragon, and then they bullshitted their way out of that because it was TPK, and then and then all the other times it was just mooks that the Barbarian could have soloed. Right?
Yeah.
Or that the Druid could have soloed. Yeah, or the Druid could have soloed, right? The Displacer Beast were a threat, for sure, but...
Yeah, but they ran away from them.
Yeah, it would have just slowed them down. I don't think it would have killed any of them, like, mechanically. Obviously, if they have enough hit points to survive a couple of rounds in a gelatinous cube, they're not going to be worried about a fucking 5th edition Displacer Beast. So, like, this fight was kind of the only real fight in the whole fucking movie. That the party got into, and I felt like it was really well done. What level is Bigsby's hand? Because that'll give us a sense of what level they were at. Because dude did summon a Bigsby's hand.
5, I think.
So they would have been level 9 to get fifth level spells?
Well, he didn't do Bigsby Hand. He did the Earthen Grasp.
Oh, he did the baby version. Oh,
yeah, and the Red Wizard definitely did Bigsby Hand.
Oh, okay. So we're thinking like 7 or 8 by the end of the movie, kind of thing. Okay. Yeah. So then they have this fight where this bitch is just rolling her a 5 or 6 on a D6 to get back her level 9 spell slot, obviously, and she opens the battle with a meteor swarm, right? And this is where I was like so happy that this happened. And you might think like, are you crazy? Why would you be happy that happened? That's stupid, right? If she had used Meteor Swarm, they would have all gotten burned and blown up and all that. Here's the thing about hit points that I try to explain to people. Hit points aren't real. Hit points represent how long you can fight, how much you can take before you are finally dropped. You are not getting hit with every arrow. You are not getting hit with every claw, with every bite. You are not being hit with every boulder. You are dodging out of the way at the last minute. You're getting a scratch, a slash, a poke, but you're not being impaled by every single stab, right, that comes at you. Some characters are, but most characters, most characters aren't. Most characters are just getting roughed up. Avoiding a meteor swarm and the debris falling from the buildings and stuff like that, that's going to drain your hit points. Even on the barbarian, it's going to drain those hit points. You don't have to show a person being hit by every single attack for the implication to be there that hit points are going down. And that's what I thought was really cool about that fight, is everybody was getting a little roughed up and a little messed up, but they weren't like being destroyed, right? Which by the end, when she stabs the barbarian with, the blade of Plotinus or whatever, it made sense to me, right? Because of all the other shit that they had already done. She had already fought a small militia by herself, in the Forge. Probably hadn't had a chance to get anything besides a short rest in since then. And then, it was really well done. And then when she went to cast Time Stop with her recurring level 9 spell slot, and Justice Smith was like, counter spell, and then they all pretended that he didn't counter spell, and then they bamboozled her. I thought that was beautiful. I thought that was a very Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. We all dumped our intelligence, but we all have charisma. That was definitely the kind of thing that would be pulled off. And then when she's like, how? And he's like, I got better. I just laughed because I was like, you just rolled really well. Like maybe
he jumped proficiency bonuses,
Yeah, it's true. Like his proficiency bonus went up by 1. Bitch. Yeah, I was just like, oh my god.
One thing too, speaking about that fight, one thing I saw too that was kind of fun was when she animated the dragon.
Yes.
And then one sling in the head made the dragon go away. I was like, she lost concentration.
Lost concentration.
She failed a concentration check.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Yep. All of the dumb shit about Dungeons and Dragons was represented at some point in the movie. It was so well done.
The only thing that wasn't there was the long rest in the middle of a dungeon.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like they were trying to set a very fast pace for this movie.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, and there was just no place for resting. It felt like at any point.
They had one long rest, and that was on the beach.
Well, they also had long rest at the Emerald Enclave.
Oh, that's true too.
Yeah. So like they did have places for it, yeah, but I just thought it was really good. I thought it was really good. Well, we've got like 5 or 6 minutes and we're done with this, but we covered the whole damn movie, I think. Is there anything you want to shout about the movie?
Did you let me see here. So at the end, after they pulled the fast one on her, and then the druid just mauled her to death and then threw her into a window.
Yeah. Very Hulk with Loki. Very Hulk with Loki.
Yeah. Very Hulk with Loki. Yeah. What had happened to the?
How'd you feel about the anti-magic manacles? How'd you feel about that?
Plot.
I thought as soon as they said that they were using that, I was like, well, that's gonna come back and fuck the bad guy in the ass, like for sure.
Another thing too. What made this campaign, this group so well is that they didn't have somebody who just break the game with magic.
Yeah.
In their team.
That's true.
They had a sorcerer, but he was a bad sorcerer.
I mean, he was obviously a bad player for sure. Yeah, he was definitely a bad player. And the druid was more obsessed with wild shaping than actually using her spells.
I don't think did she use any spell at all? No.
Yeah, I imagine she just kept it all for healing her owlbear form.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Yeah, she's a moon druid.
Yeah.
She's definitely a moon druid, but how much she was
wild shaping?
Wild shaping.
Maybe they just house ruled it. They're like, you could just spend your spell. Like the DM's like, fine, just spend your spell slots to wild shape. No, that's fine. It's fine. If you really want, if you just want a wild shape, sure, just use your spell slots to wild shape. Honestly, I'd take that deal. Like, all right. Oh,
yeah.
Let's see. Let's check chat. We didn't check chat most of the time. We're so geeking out about it. Let's scroll to the top. Movie was a fun ride. I loved everything about it. Felt very much like a D&D game between friends. Agreed. Then let's see. Let's see. This is honestly my Justice Smith performance. Yeah. Well, I'm glad he was there for Cadenex. Let's see. There was no shouting. No shouting the name of spells. I love that they never shouted the name of the spells. It was fantastic.
Well, I mean, yeah, and they did they did do the somatic and vocal stuff, and it was just them saying whatever they wanted, whatever they needed to say for it, doing whatever hand signs they needed to do. And there was one moment when they were fighting. When he was fighting one of the people inside the bar. When he was doing the show.
Yeah.
He was fighting, and then like one guy like covered up his mouth while he was fighting him.
Yeah. So that he couldn't cast his spells. Yeah.
Couldn't cast spells. Yeah, they did. They did some of that too.
Ursa Prime says, I realize it's totally there for toy opportunities, like the extending axe and the paladin sword. 100% Merc. Well, Hasbro is a toy company. Listen. I've been doing Dungeons. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since I was.
That's a cool weapon.
Since I was 13, so 29 years of Dungeons and Dragons, and I remember playing in the Stranger Things days, right? When it was like you were satanic and you were a weirdo and you were a social outcast and you were the wrong kind of nerd and all that kind of stuff. So to live in this day and age where D&D is so cool and it has its own movie and the movie's actually good. And people are excited about merchandise and excited about the game and excited about the franchise and excited about playing. And, I mean, where I can have a side business of running Dungeons & Dragons games, it is a dream come true. Honestly, this movie made me as emotional as the first Infinity War movie did. As a comic book nerd child, like to see all of that happening in the Infinity War movies was just like, overwhelming. It was overwhelming to see all of that happening. And then I kind of felt that way again to be at a Dungeons & Dragons movie and have it be such a big deal and then also good on top of that. It's a very emotional moment for me. Again, not a great movie in so much as it's like revolutionizing anything, but definitely a fun movie that respected the franchise, the hobby, the people, the community. This movie respected the community more than Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro did. For being honest. It was really, really good. Chat generally agrees that she was fucking a halfling. So sorry.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
I mean, he did have halfling vibes. Just I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not the first adorable short that Bradley Cooper has played. His other one being a certain raccoon. So curious if one of the other teams was the bad D&D movie crew. Oh, that would have been a nice Easter egg to see. But I think they're trying to pretend that movie never happened. Let's see. The last hit point is the only real hit point. Absolutely. And then theory crafting about the next movie. And then Lex points out what we all have already discussed, that Safina had way too many 9th level spells. But my theory is that she had a recharge ability, that if she got a 5 or a 6, she got back her 9th level spell slot. Ursa Prime suggests that maybe that was her layer action. was every round she would get back her highest level spell slot or something like that, or had
That'd be a crazy,
yeah
layer action.
Or, well, I mean, for an end game boss, I've copied spell effects and used them for layer actions. So it's not completely unbelievable to just say that, you know, maybe she has extra spell slots, yeah, that are her, you know, she can cast these particular spells, but she can't do the same one in a row. Yeah. I don't know. I think my theory crafting might be right there though with the refresh spell.
Well, knowing how they're setting up, they already made the characters.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they're gonna make this this boss. I'm so certain they're gonna release this movie as like an adventure.
Oh, for sure. If they did Stranger Things as a, you know, the campaign from Stranger Things as a campaign, they're definitely gonna do something with this. Like definitely. Yeah. And then they also talked about they're definitely not done in the realms, so they're kind of doubling down on this brand. So Forgotten Realms ain't going anywhere, and with the success of this movie, it can't go anywhere because this is the world that they're introducing people to. But I don't know if you saw the D&D update thingy that they did. They're doing a live action Dragonlance series.
Yeah.
Which is pretty wild.
What's his name? Joe. What's his name? This actor who's being part of it too.
I don't know.
Something.
I didn't watch the whole thing. I just watched the part about Planescape because I was pretty excited about they're going big on Planescape.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be able to get Monty Cook back for it, but they did get the original concept artist back for it, D. Tizzarelli or whatever. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but yeah, dude. Yeah,
Joe Magdaleno.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to be in the Dragonlance show.
Yeah, he's help directing and producing it, I think.
Oh shit! Wow. Yeah. So I don't know. There's a lot of people out there. A lot of people hating still. They can't forget what happened in January, and they shouldn't forget what happened in January. A lot of people's livelihoods were put at stake. A lot of franchises were put at stake. A lot of companies' continued existence were put at stake. It was a real shitty thing that happened. But it doesn't change the fact that they made a really good movie. You know, like don't let it blind you to big corpo. Right? Keep your eyes open. Remain an activist, right? But I'm watching the community lately on Twitter and other platforms kind of tear itself apart because people enjoyed this movie and are excited about Planescape and are excited about Dragonlance and stuff like that, and it's like I just don't understand, you know? Like you can be cautious about a company and still, you know, enjoy the products that are being made. You know what I mean? Like there's
I'm always a big component of a reward for things that I like and don't reward for things I don't. So
yeah, like I'm not going to reactivate my D&D Beyond subscription when it goes I think in 2 weeks or something it's going to expire. And you can see that that's had an impact because they've slashed the prices of memberships and stuff like that, trying to get people back from the January protests and things like that. But I'll admit, like this movie, it hit all the right marks for me. Like, and if I
this doesn't feel like a cash grab.
Yeah, I feel like if this is the kind of care that they're gonna take with this franchise, trying to build it and monetize it more, I'm okay with that. I think this is an okay direction for them to go if they want more money. I think what they tried to do in January was fucked up, and I think the community showed them it was fucked up, and maybe now they'll double down on this stuff instead, and that's completely okay. So, yeah. All right. Anything else about the movie you want to talk about before we close out?
No, I think I'm good.
All right.
I enjoyed it. It was great.
It was very good. So tomorrow night, we are good for Solasta.
Yep.
All right.
3 to 8.
3 to 8. 3 to 8. Oh, tomorrow's 3 to 8. Okay.
Yeah, 3 to 8.
Okay. All right. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna be like waking up to do some maps in Incarnate, playing Red-Handed Doom. Then pretty much as soon as Red-Handed Doom is over, I'm gonna spin my chair around in a circle, and then play 5 hours of Solasta with you.
Yep.
All right. That's my day tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Whole
Well,
vacation.
yeah. I'm gonna rest my voice box then for a lot of jabbering tomorrow. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you everybody who hung out in chat. Anybody who's watching the VOD later, appreciate it. And I hope that you didn't have the movie horribly spoiled for you by watching this. And if you watched the movie and you enjoyed this, cool. It was a great movie. All right. And that's it for us. Everybody have a good night, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Take care.